So my name's Adam Smith, and I'm the founder and CEO of Surplus to Purpose. And I'm also known for an organisation called the Real Junk Food Project. So I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I travelled Australia and I came across food waste on farms and kind of questioned production waste. I've never seen production waste prior to working in Australia. I've always been around retail and hospitality waste. And honestly, it just happened. Like I was on a farm in a field in 40-degree heat, and I just said, I'm going to create the Real Junk Food Project. I'm going to feed the world using surplus food. I just said it. Basically, what we do is we take food that is deemed surplus, so food that can't be sold for whatever reason. So past best before, accidental damage, just surplus to requirements. And we take that food and we process that food. So everything goes onto a database, everything gets weighed, and we know to the gram how much food we have stopped from going to waste. And then it goes through a really strict quality control process, because obviously the nature of the food that we get is very high risk. So there's two major streams that we then do. One is waste. So obviously, what do we do with the stuff that isn't edible? We've got a massive environmental team and an environmental operation that basically stops packaging from becoming waste or landfilled. And then the other side of it is what to do with the food that is edible. So the three major activities we do is events. So we do outside catering, weddings, functions for everybody. So anybody can have one. We do retail, so we can deliver to your house, or you can come and shop with us 5 days a week in a big, huge supermarket that we have. Or we do redistribution. So I send food to countries all over the world, including places like Palestine, Ukraine, Calais, refugee camps, you name it. Anywhere that there's a need for aid, whilst also exposing the problem and then trying to change things as well at the same time. We go back to the supplier and say, have you thought about doing this to try to reduce how much you waste? Because effectively, we don't want to keep coming back every week, taking all this food when you don't need to waste it in the first place. So people are looking at different ways to access food. And you know what we've created is something where everybody can get access to it. You're helping stop waste. But they're thinking differently about food as well, which is great for us, because it means they're not going to supermarkets straight away. They're coming to us, shopping with us, and then they might go to supermarkets afterwards to see what else they need. You know, if we were in every single town and city across the UK doing what we're doing, I think supermarkets would be very, very scared about the fact that people are changing their attitudes with their feet. The other side of the coin, unfortunately, is food waste is the worst it's ever been. There is more of it available than ever before. There's more access to it than ever before. So the processes are there to help deal with the problem, but the problem's getting worse. Or the amount of food that's been sent to anaerobic digestion, that's not getting sent to landfill because people are trying to create green energy off of it, but actually it's still food being wasted. Food waste has become entangled in politics and social problems. You know, we can't solve poverty, but we can maybe change and have an impact on food waste. So I'd like to see this unraveling, where if there is a food bank mechanism and a support mechanism, then maybe that's more state provided rather than it being food waste providing it, because otherwise they just need more food waste to keep feeding more poor people. And all they've done is just keep basically throwing surplus food at it. It sustains both problems in my eyes rather than actually tackling either problem. So I really, really like to see that happen. A really quick win would be stop using food waste to underpin food banks and start using state provision food. Because what will happen then is that a lot more food banks will close, and maybe we can empower people out of positions of poverty to the point where they can actually afford to pay for food themselves, and food prices will go down so that people can afford, you know, their groceries. That would be a better position to be in. All the focus is on tech and apps to try and solve food waste, but that's not what's going to solve food waste. It's going to be people that solve food waste. You know, we've really got to tackle this as a global collective, and everybody needs to be sat around that table, from food banks to food manufacturers to third sector organisations to governments. We all need to be sat around that table.